I agree with the video that says just stay away from people during the eclipse. But it's always, I think they slide that in because it's good advice to stay away from people. Period. Doesn't have to be a once in 325-year eclipse. I think that some of the problems that we face on a daily basis, most problems are born of, if we want to consider people being more real than the mind, then okay. Of course, we will start talking about narcissism and about, well, here we go. What difference is it, mind, people, narcissist? And imagined, well, it's not imagined that there is that field of information, that it's a false field of information. It's interesting. Very, very, very profoundly interesting. If you've ever contemplated the nature of the mind, it will come to this point where the question will break through. You will see. First of all, I won't give it up right here, but the question will come up. Do people exist? Just like, well, gotta be the same as, does the mind have existential reality? No, not individually as people. They don't exist more than reality itself, and the fact that there are minds there hallucinating who knows what, which isn't very good. You can't rely on an ecology where the field of information there is false, let alone that that's just the nature of the mind and or people. But if the organism doesn't know this, if the intelligence there possibly, if there isn't any awareness about it, and it thinks that that is awareness, as far as the mind and people, to draw off of and think that that's anything real, or like the truth, or say real life is what I mean. What I mean is, yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of a suffocation there. I do think that the air is missing, the reality is missing. Because that could become troublesome, if you ask me, if you think that it isn't, that it's something other than what reality shows, then again, I might have mentioned it earlier, let's just say that you're not reliable as a presence on this plane, not a good witness. And we find that everywhere, though. We find unreliable presences on this plane. No good witnesses. And it's difficult, right? It's difficult. What if you wanted to get on the same page about something? If you guys were to share a life, have a life, now we're getting into relationships, narcissists. What if, the mind, aligning your minds up wasn't the answer? Everybody thinks that they have to agree, and see, the main thing that narcissists will experience innocently, it's an innocent thing, is the mind will get right in the way. Well, what happens is that reality shows up, and then the mind is now going to override. It's just saying, no, we can't have that. And whatever argument can come up, it will, basically as a defense. The mind wants to be more real than anything else. And so if you can hear this, this is the truth about that. I mean, if you have a mind, if you haven't gotten a hold of it and looked at it, this is the thing, the plague on the planet. It's a real conversation. I mean, we have this eclipse coming up, and I just think that it doesn't matter. This is what's happening day in and day out. There is a problem. Now, I heard with the mind racing down the road with who knows what that hasn't anything to do with the fact of reality being peace. But now let's talk about, like, I don't know if this is the truth. We can find this out. But they said that NASA was going to fire some rockets at the eclipse or something, and I don't doubt it. But, yeah, that it is a sign of the Aries vibration, which is the lowest of low, like it's the worst, it's like the primitive vibe, it's the war vibe of the Aries, which is, it can be senseless acts just because they have rockets or what is going on. See, and also CERN is going to be doing something. It's like, you know what? Can we not do anything at all? I think that with Jupiter getting ready to conjunct Uranus at the end of the month, because it's ruled by Venus, and now we have Venus in the not so home. Venus is in a Venus is in visiting the house of Aries, and it's a little bit harsh for her there. She'll get through it, but a lot could be missing, and also that's a big be careful. If you ask me, it's like could be a little bit accident prone if they're not looking at the details and stuff. So be careful, with what I was about to say about the Jupiter. See, people that don't really know how to relax, decompress, give themselves space, and give themselves relaxation and time alone, vacation. People that don't do that, and they keep running. If it's not something they're doing all the time, it's running for someone going to, be immersed with someone, and they just can't imagine, they can't imagine being alone for any amount of time. It's hard for them. See, any of these things that we need to change, but we can't change if when Jupiter gets to conjunct Uranus at the end of the month here in April, I imagine that it's going to bring about like just a big blow up of something that says now you have no choice but to slow down, because the Taurus vibration, which is Venus ruled, right now we have the Venus doing the haphazard of going through Aries, and see, it's a big be careful. Um, the heart matters with the heart issues. Aries is a bit rough and tumble, and you can humor all of this if you have wisdom of the heart from the heart. It's the highest of highs, right? So the highest of high expression of Venus and Aries is going to just be aware of its ways, and you don't really stop it. That's one of the things is you don't stop the instincts of Aries and how they basically they have energy and they just want to blow out some steam. Basically, it's just like, well, it's just energy. Did we not get productive on it? Now what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like some of them like one of the tactics to try and get to know somebody, I imagine if you're a Venus and Aries person, I know some of them, and like I said, it's like they're kind of, it's like, boy, they're on the other side of the tracks there, and they're doing some dangerous shit. And can they learn from their mistakes? And they have to end up in a certain way, and it's like, well, that's what they love. They just love the attention, maybe. But let's get back to just like throwing a bomb over at somebody and waiting to see how that they react. And a lot of times you get surprised. Like it's the classic when like some dudes or even anybody, they end up brawling and fighting right when they meet. I mean, that's the only time that they didn't even say hi or anything, but it's just afterwards they become best friends, you know? And it's like, I say no thanks. I have a different system. I don't want to be changed into it either. I mean, I understand that there might be some difficulty within the first moments of meeting somebody. You can see, I mean, whether or not, I mean, where are they? Getting back to narcissists, where are they? They're not located of reality. That's one of the things. And it comes up, how do you know, Shauna? Well, it comes up, their field of information that they use, they just want to plug you into it, is the talk thing. It happens just in real time. And what can we say? We can talk about this more and say, well, yeah, that's where we begin to pick up a gut feeling about that so-called presence that's really spinning all kinds of stuff, right? A standard narcissist will have very, very childish and basic prejudices, right on the surface. I mean, kind of like it's just a game of like the toddlers play, like you have something and I don't have it, and I'm jealous, and everybody thinks they're better or more happier than they are, and they don't understand the deeper life um, facts, that is kind of illusory, but they're living in a place which is, it's strange because you think, well, they aren't in their body and they're not even located of reality. But that's exactly what the problem is they're not having a satisfactory experience because they're not because and so it's their body that's saying in alarm. There's a lot of, I imagine, a lot of deep down, like the sensory, like the detection detection system of a person who every once in a while they check in and ask themselves, well, am I doing okay? Am I right about this? How does this make me feel? When they do that, it's tough, right? It's tough. It's dislocated. It's like not even gonna have a conversation. It's hard to even have a conversation about that conversation that they can't have about themselves or with themselves. And what is really there, what is really pacifying, is exactly just that. It's just talk about not being able to be alone, but you have to be with other people all the time. And you, but see, the narcissist genuinely doesn't like people, but they need people. They have to be around them. It's weird. They can't genuinely be interested in them, who they are. They're just wondering how they come off to the other people, and are they in or out. If you get enough of them together, it will. That's just a one-on-one type of thing. But if they tend to glom on, and of course you don't have anything to do with them. You're either in or out of the clique. And it's, of course, very interesting because political parties, the people that are highly political can be these cliques. They glom on energetically. It's very temporary because when they go back in their homes, they're just kind of, they're very unconscious. So what backs them up is they have to call the teacher or their cronies, that they're not standing there saying, "Oh, I represent the truth." You'll see if you look at it, what they mob on people over doesn't make much sense. It's like that's an obvious corrupt, unfair situation. And that's just the way it is, like out there. Like, what do I just hear? That was like, oh, that's terrible. Why do we have to fight to have something like unpoisoned? Like to stop letting so and so. Well, the most recent thing is what they're doing to small time farmers with just excuses about things, and really it's just a vital matter of having taken their lifestyle away, and the fact that well-beings will be that much more stifled. They're just trying to grow food, and there is water there, and they're claiming how. See, it's up north, and it's like, what are you talking about? Up north, tons of water up there. What the hell are they? Why are they saying that? That it's because they're using too much water. You're using our water to do your gardening. It's like, well, what else are we going to use the water for? Good God! Well, see, I think about it. See, like where I am here, it's like this place. It could be so much smarter, and it could be, and the whole fucking human race can. Comment section down below. But look, are we gonna start fighting over it and thinking we can change it overnight? Hopefully, not anytime soon. We have to be patient. And what Christ? Hi, Christ. Are you over there? Yeah, I'm here. Would suggest is this isn't your place. That's what if anything made a sense out of that sacrifice over there, if it makes sense, that person said, yeah, this is going to make front headline news. Etch it in stone in your retina, in your DNA, in your brain, because this is hooked into the fact that I figured out that we don't die. I'm a scientist, and so, and there's such a different life we can have, but you people suck. So I'm gonna fucking go over here and just have you, and then let's just do it up. Take me to court, yes, release the murderer, and kill me because I attract fish and heal people. Great story. Is that what's happening? Yes. Fucking back. We just stopped killing them now. We just back them in. We just push them into. Let's just hammer them out with my ability to build. Whatever it is, a prison. It's really you're building your own imprisonment, and pretty soon you're gonna look stupid, shutting out the very people that can actually get you out of whatever the fuck karma your soul is stirring in, and incarnations of hell, creating this fucking maze. Really, that yeah, come back and fix it up, repair it now. At least you found something to fill time with when other people are like, Jesus Christ, there's such a better fucking way to do all of this, don't you think? Don't you think? Don't you think? Don't ya? Think. Think with me, babes. I am being peaceful, like I said, but I don't think being peaceful really means like the Libra vibration. The Libras are more apt to keep peace at the cost of their own well-beings. It seems like their own intelligence levels. Like, no, I like the marriage thing, how they'll stay in a marriage and prove that they can work it out. And really, if they're with a narcissist, that person is going to destroy them and turn them into the most worthless thing, because they don't have respect. And then that's just a fact. You can't love a malignant narcissist because they don't care about any of that. They don't care about who. Like I said in the beginning, I tried to tell you this. They're incapable of being interested in who you are because they're low in maturity. It's very, very immature. That's basically what the malignant narcissist is somebody who is very immature, stuck at the toddler place where just find out when the abuse took place. That's how old they are, and they're stunted there, and it's so bad, the hurt, that they can't. They're only interested in and filling up their, if you can imagine, there's a lot of pain, I guess. There isn't anybody there. It's a constant insecurity, and that persists and starts to mask, and it begins to reach for things that indeed can be masks, right? So big, big for narcissists, right, is marriages, but basically to get into that relationship, and get into a relationship, but get into the marriage for sure. It's a high percentage that are hiding in that. It's really just unintelligence that creates a situationship. It's really weird what I've been looking at lately. It's like, really, oh my God, now this is the movie, and it's gross because what I'm seeing is that, well, you know how like narcissists, maybe the malignant cases, which is just about everybody you think, but no, there's people. It's like it's a cult. We've already talked about it. Like the psychologists say, it's like it ends up being a society who says, "Yeah, no, thumbs up," and so they are fashioned up by the church or whatever politics, like the influence that's around them, really is covertly abusing them and causing them to be calloused in such a way that very insensitivity becomes, they just, oh no, that's the way you got to be. One up on you. It's like, no, actually, you're not safe for nerves. First of all, nerve endings to be around, right? So we have a problem. We get all kinds of problems dealing with the gaslighting society and the people that just claim that we have too much feelings, and all kinds of problems. Just shades of gray across the board. But you can get that in general and say, well, they've been rendered up through abuse, whether it's covert, it could, there's enough going on. Just when you're handed over to a doctor when you're first born, it's like, watch out, what are they doing to the boys? And they were, and girls, everybody. They teach everybody to do the opposite. It's just because you don't know, you don't do it yourself and say, hey, this is the way it worked, and make your own fucking book and write it. Talking about everything. Who has a chance to even work any of their fucking ideas here? See, I was just talking about, like, okay, so, the peacekeeping thing during the eclipse is like, if you can't talk like this and at least turn it into a comedy, you need to realize the therapist part. Are we going to realize that we need to be therapists towards each other? If you want a relationship narcissist, do you know how to be a therapist towards one another? Do you know how to go back and say, well, what is it? What is it that I'm bringing up in you right now that you see? You see a different person because I'm really not hurting you. I'm not trying to do that. Right? Right. That's what goes on. If you haven't worked on your stuff, you're blaming the beauty, the person that's the opportunity to know love and to bust through and leave that past behind is there, but can you get over that? It's called the shadow work, the shadow, the old self, I guess, the child is the one who sees the shadow. See, we could be stuck in that, and of course, none of us are perfect. Do we match up our stigmas? Possibly. Men and women in general, you can go general. What kind of stigma do they have? I don't want to talk about it. It's the most hideous. Well, it's hideous because of the way how because nobody really wants to talk about it on their own. They've been fed a lot of stuff, and also the programming has been taken advantage of, where it's a hideous game of survival where it doesn't make sense. It's just basically, going general, it looks stupid. It looks stupid. And something is going to continue on flatlining the potential of everything. It's just hard to explain, but going general, if you take the sensitivity away that gets into the details of, well, what's really needed here? Like question it. The intelligence will go just anywhere and everywhere because it's a higher vibrational frequency, and if you akin it to your nervous system, it's very much more sensitive. That's what an empath is um, working with, is many different senses beyond just the five senses, right? We have EMF waves that are going out that do the EEG or whatever that is, the brain waves too, and heart, feeling, emotions, all that stuff is tentacles. See, and the narcissist is, has all that going on, but they don't communicate with it right. They feel that a lot of people can't see it. There's a lot of pain maybe associated. There's shades of gray, right, as to why they shy away from feeling anything and getting and making breakthroughs. Mainly, a lot of times it's the emotions. See, um, that will come up that if you're an emotional shutdown, it doesn't matter where it's coming from, especially if it's your thoughts that creates an emotion. So you can't even think because you don't want to feel an emotion. That's what's going on with a lot of people. And so they're basically so stunted in IQ, and that masks itself. They're in turmoil like it's an everyday thing. Like, oh man, how do I stop feeling? Right? No good. Because there's a lot of bodily disruption. Because they're not in their body. It's like, gosh, you're just hardly. Life is hard, I guess, but it's not that hard. I mean, God, feel. Anyway, I just saw a post that says, you can be okay going through life realizing that happiness isn't really that important. It's not the most important thing. I mean, there's so many different. What about joy? What about bliss? What about satisfaction? What about truly being satisfied? Happiness is just another aspect of sadness. It's really just sadness standing right side up, really. What does Killer Gibran say? Um, Your happiness is just your sorrow unmasked. They are the same. That which brought you happiness will bring you sorrow, and that which has brought you sorrow has brought you happiness. And there isn't any really real way to tell the difference between the two as far as the roller coaster ride. I hope you enjoy what you're doing there. Like that story I was trying to tell you about the guy with the son who got the horse, and the neighbor kept getting happy and sad and happening, and the other neighbors looked at him just thinking, this life is hard enough. Why must you hang on to these emotions and really just think it's one way or the other? It's one way or the other. No, it's not. It's just happening. Joy it up, bliss it up. Just observe it. Say, dang, amazing, amazing. Embrace it. Have the discipline enough to indulge into art forms that will bring joy to yourself, and see, because when you do it authentically, it will bring joy to others, whatever it is. If it's a piece of music, a apple pie, what have we? A lot of the stuff is censored. It's like, yeah, that's all we do is eat and listen to music. So yes, I will post something here about the eclipse that says, please just, they talk about all this stuff. They say, stay away from people, do a daily routine, like make a little shrine, burn some incense, create a quiet space, release 20 minutes. It's like, babes, you should be doing this every day, not just when there's an eclipse. It's cool that they're using that to dial people in on your everyday routine. But did you know it's like every day that a lot of us are doing that? Because fuck, you want to, besides for an eclipse, man, there's humanity is being eclipsed by what? The narcissist, right? Come on, give me a like for mentioning it, and subscribe. Tell your friends that Puppet Shauna is here to, believe it or not, I can I can make my voice sound, just as soothing as any other Kleenex with aloe vera. That's what I get for having Mercury conjunct, well, Mercury in Libra, but it is conjunct Uranus, so every once in a while you might catch a jewel out of what I have said or stated, and you can take it to the bank, perhaps. And I just sit there and go, why don't you give me at least a sandwich from it?